ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download.
2,000 years long, we will never settle. Hard days, no way with a heavy metal. No time, no fail, won't stop here. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot. We won't stop. Come on, baby,
Good afternoon, fight fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and it's that time of the week for Fight Night Fortunes with good friend and colleague, Mr. Lou Finocchiaro. Go follow him, of course, on X or Twitter at Lou Finocchiaro. At Gamlu. Shame on me, Jeff. Shame on me. Today's headline, UFC 314 Miami. We're going to get jiggy with it in South Beach. Will Diego Lopez make a statement in the main event? First and foremost, a shout out to our proud sponsors and partnerships. It's WagerWire. Head on over to Google Play. Download the app. It is free. AtlantaSteaksAndSeafood.com. Head on over there. Steaks, chops, appetizers, wine. You name it, Terry Smith has it. 4 subscriptions plans as well. Check a box every 30 days. He will deliver you protein for the month. The only thing you'll need is an extra propane tank. And finally, Viva Tequila Seltzer, 6 flavors in all. The East Coast is cuckoo for coconut. So without further ado, Mr. Lou Finocchiaro.
11 weeks straight we've done this, Jeffrey, and here we are. UFC 314 from Miami, a huge card, great fights, and these East Coast people, which is YOU, you gotta start watching this pay-per-view at 10 p.m. Holy moly! I don't know. That would be a test for me to stay up to watch the whole card. I have a tough enough time here. PST.
You know, it's funny because we have a lot of friends, a lot of colleagues out west, and that's the funny thing. Some of them came from the East, and that's all they talk about is, OMG, I'm so glad I'm out west. I can't understand how you guys back East can stay up. Now, the older I get, you're right. Hey, I'll catch it on my phone later that night, or I'll check the box scores the following morning because, if we're early to rise, 5:30, some of us get up in the morning. You can't be up to the wee hours of the morning watching fights, watching West Coast basketball or baseball, Lou.
I take my little boxer EV for a 3,700 step walk at 4:45 in the morning every day. And I mean, anyone that has dogs knows. Those dogs know. It ain't a quarter after because she's woke up the whole house by then. She's a fit little cutie, but she needs to get her yayas out. And by doing that, that's what it accomplishes. But it also gets my day started. And so consequently, I am not a late night guy at all. I'm glad, again, coming from Central Time Zone, I would never want to go back to that. And East would be more challenging. That said, I know those that dwell in Eastern time zones, they're a little tougher, they're a little more direct, and they do what they got to do. So much respect goes that way.
Busy weekend before we talk about last weekend's card and before we get to 314 here. Saturday, the shocker of all shockers. I'm talking about the Duke game, not the result. Because pre-flop, we thought it would be a close game. And I've said it 150 times on the show. I'll say it one more time. If Duke just won, I would have been the sole survivor in a survivor contest for $3,500. I didn't need them to cover. I just needed them to win the game. And I had already got through earlier with Florida, so I had one pick left. That was Monday with Duke. I just had to get to Monday with one pick. And the gentleman in charge of the contest with 8 minutes to go had to, nudge me and say, hey, just FYI, you're the winner if Duke holds on and wins here. And I'm the most superstitious person in the world, Lou. And I knew right then I was in trouble.
Yeah, that's too bad. I'm a pretty superstitious guy too. I don't know that would do it because he only meant well. I used to years ago have a buddy or two over to the house for a drink and some barbecue for the fights every once in a while. But one of my buddies inevitably, once he knew what my bet was, would start oohing and on for the other guy. And so that thing ended quickly. I'm not good to watch my sporting events around anybody. You'll never catch me Sunday in a sports book, not in the mass watching the game. I'm usually somewhere else because when the whole place erupts, I'm saying, oh, poop. And when the whole place is, ready to go to the bathroom and Duke, I want to jump up and down and yell hooray. No gloating allowed. So the sports book scene for a big event and all those, it's just not me. And so I bury myself away. I'm in Gamblu World headquarters right now. They know not to jack with me now. All that said, big tough Uncle Louie is good. I have to go to this wedding. My son's best buddy is getting married. My son's the best man. Of course, my wife's making me go. I'm beside myself. I'm going to miss all the fights.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what to say whether than, you either can follow them on your phone, Lou, or maybe tape them and catch them on the rebound or something. But those are tough ones.
Yeah, I'm going to get the results when I can. Probably, I'm not going to be there at the wedding doing that when I need to be, with my wife dancing and all that shit. So I'm going to bite the bullet, but it'll be cold. I told her it's a cold day in hell. You're going to make me do this again on a fight night. I'm just, the issue is that 44 or 45 weeks every single year there's something. So eventually she just gets fed up and says, here's what we're doing. There's not much I can say.
2 months into the college baseball season, the Vols, the almighty Vols, had a rough weekend last weekend. We had the NCAA Insiders on Tuesday. They'll be back with us, of course, on Friday. Arkansas, Matt Grissom's team now takes the come get us approach. I know you got futures. I know you really focus once the regionals, the super regionals, and of course Omaha. Surprised that, it doesn't mean much right now, but the Vols finally take the plunge and had a rough weekend against the Aggies. The Aggies team that some of us thought was actually going to be pretty damn good this year.
I'm not surprised. And why am I not surprised? Because the SEC is so good top to bottom that's going to happen the whole season long. We need to watch these teams interact with each other. If you remember last year, Florida was under 500, ran through the regional supers, made it to Omaha, almost won the dadgum thing. So this SEC is real, but it isn't always what it seems to be. And that's why we got to kind of watch now. And then we really have to pay attention to how it's situated come regional. So we're getting close to that. And it's kind of exciting. I will say this, I'm spending very little time paying attention to it now other than the weekly rankings. And to see Tennessee fall, the Tennessee fans are probably saying the sky is falling down, but it isn't falling down. and the teams that fell out, who ASU falls out, Dallas Baptist falls out, and they're going to come back and maybe get in. And they've got a chance to maybe get to Omaha. But if you're talking about who's going to win in Omaha, you're down to 10 teams, and that's it, period, maybe 10.
I agree with you. I can't wait the closer we get there. It's Masters Week. Currently, the old timer, Mr. Justin Rose, -6 through 10 with the lead. Connors -4, Scheffler -4, Mr. Tyrell Hatton -4. Are you a Masters guy? Are you a golf?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have, but I'm very safe because it isn't my core. And I listen to guys like Brady and Cutmaker Jeff, and I take some of the golfers that I match up with. I can do my own golf handicapping to a bit, basically by avoiding the everybody's. That's everybody's on Tommy Fleetwood. Everybody. No, I got an everybody or two. I got Spieth top 20. That's an everybody bet. I've got Cam Smith top 20. He's not looking too bad. We're only a few holes in, so I'm not going to get too excited. The bet that I have that I need, and I said it earlier this morning before they teed off, because Justin Rose teed off at 9. I have Justin Rose under 72.5, and at -6 right now, I'm not in, but I'm on my way to being in. I mean, he could easily fire up a 42 on this side, and I think I'd still barely make it. So I think Rose and some of those old salty veterans that know the course and know how to play it can be dangerous this week, and we'll see what happens. But I'm conservative early. If that Rose hits today, then that's a pretty good position. That dumps a good amount of money in my Masters budget that allows me to now play the next 3 days. If he blows up and I miss that, then more than likely I sit with the few bets that I have remaining, which amount to nothing, and enjoy the tournament. But I would really like Rose to hit so I can do some more playing as we get into rounds 2, 3, 4.
Last week in the UFC, Las Vegas 105, of course, the small octagon, less fans. I watched all the fights. I really did. I was doing some of my homework. The Finney Valentine fight, I was really doing some homework there. I'll start here.
What'd your homework tell you?
My homework told me, I need to do more homework. How's that sound?
You got to tell me something. What'd you think? Finney a champ or a chump? What is it?
He's good. He's good. Now, my UFC, as you would like to say, my MD, my DNA has a long way to go. I'm looking more for tacticians. I'm looking for some wows and stuff. So maybe that wasn't a good fight to start with. So I can learn from the best. What did you see in that fight?
Well, first of all, let me just tell you, there's a lot of really good MMA, mixed martial arts, and UFC minds out there. It's flattering that you would call me the best. I would say I'm a top enthusiast with a lot of those other guys. My opinion is that you can't be singularly dimensioned in today's MMA. Torres Finney has nothing but wrestling. He won't last long. He's an absolute fade moving ahead. As soon as he finds someone that's got some experience and can keep the fight standing, he'll be shredded. And he's an under, as far as I'm concerned, too singularly dimensioned. I think the other kid has a shot to do something because he didn't get a chance to fight and he was frustrated, but he didn't incur any damage. He just was put on his back against the ropes and controlled, and Finney did no damage in the control position. So there's a reason Dana held him off and made him go through 3 contender fights before he got to the UFC, but he's an under. He's a fade.
I think I've seen some timelines on social media. Is the word surprised? It's Sabatini versus Brito. Were you shocked, surprised?
No, that was the Sabatini path to victory. I thought that Brito would be able to withstand those takedowns and get to Sabatini. I missed that fight. I had Brito in a couple of parlays straight. The good news is we saved ourselves because I had Sabatini plus 7.5 points. I was trying to hit both a Brito decision and Sabatini hits. As it was, Sabatini bailed me out of the 2 positions on Brito. And so you have a fight just like that one this week, and we'll talk about it when we get there. Will we get there? Oh, no, I don't have that fight on here. Maybe we'll switch it up on you, and we'll talk about one that I would like to talk about that gives you that wrestler against slugger, just like last week, instead of one of the ones we have up here.
And lastly, you talk about Father Time, and I was really excited for the main event. I was waiting for the wow factor. I thought Emmett was going to get some of those wows in. Murphy minus 300 when we did our show, kind of gentleman business-like affair.
Yeah, Murphy totally outclassed him on the feet. Emmett didn't have the feet to get to Murphy. We talked, can Emmett get to Murphy? I thought, yes. I thought wrong. Okay. Because he didn't get close to Murphy. Murphy, that was a commanding, demanding, one-sided fence painting by Murphy. Now, is Murphy exciting? He got the finishing panache and the excitement to draw a lot of fans to his fights. No, UFC going to probably put him against Man Mountain D next time. They're going to try and get him beat because he doesn't move the needle. And that's unfortunate for him because he's skilled and great. But the UFC wants blood and knockouts. And if you can't give them that, they're going to make the path a little bit tougher for you.
Trying to pull something up here for us. Bear with me 1 second here. Okay, that's not there. All right, UFC 314. I'm going to pull up live right now on DraftKings here. I'm going to give you the actual lines here on.
I give you some names this week, baby. Ha 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 ha.
Samurai versus Mitch Raposo. Right now, Samurai minus 175, Raposo plus 145, over 2.5 minus 180. How did I do?
Not bad. Su Mujeri is a Chinese fighter. He's primarily a stand-up striker, long, tall, can't spell wrestling, can't stop a takedown, not overly strong, not overly powerful, not really an acutely good fighter, in my opinion. And you're going to give him this sawed-off Mexican fighter that enters, and he's going to be shorter, but he's going to be younger, and he's a switch striker. He's going to be giving away length and height in a striking battle. But this Raposo, coming off a fight against this Lima, that Lima is a future 125-pound top 5 contender for the belt. And he lost a split decision to Lima. In that loss, Raposo gains credibility with me. Now they put him against a Chinese fighter, has to ship in to Miami to fight. And I think that Raposo's very live, and I'll be using him here. In fact, we have.
Second fight we have here, Jan Ionen versus Mr. John DeRoba. Right now, John DeRoba minus 148. Jan is plus 124, and over 2.5. Lou is now minus 210.
Yeah, Yan Xiaonan, a Chinese fighter, just fought for the championship against Weili Zhang, lost, but she survived an early scare and ended up making it all the way to the end of the fight. Tough decision. She's traditionally had trouble with takedowns, but lately her evolution has been to get bigger, stronger. She's a Chinese athlete working at the Performance Center in the UFC Performance Center in China, where there's a lot of great work going on. But this young gal, Zhao Nan, really put on a lot of beef and muscle, and she knows what's coming. She knows her weakness, to handle the takedown. Jandiroba, the Brazilian BJJ savant, if Jandiroba gets her down and that's her single point of focus, then she's going to finish Yao Nan, because I don't think Yao Nan will be able to get up. And Jandiroba has great skill on the ground. The issue is Jandiroba, as deft and talented as she is in BJJ, she's not a killer wrestler, meaning how's she going to get this big, strong Chinese gal to the ground? I don't think she can. I like the underdog in this fight. However, if you talk to anybody out there, go to anybody prognosticating this fight in the just punch it into Google and see all the guys picking it. Nobody's picking my gal. They're all on Jandiroba. So I respect that. And I looked at the fight hard. I released it. I'm not changing my mind. I like my gal for the reasons stated. Will she win? I don't know. I'll find out after I get back from this wedding.
Well, again, for the whole world to be on Jandiroba at only minus 148, to me, there's a little red flag there. I would, that number right now is not 185. It's not 2-1. It's almost like they're enticing the Jandiroba money, Lou.
Yeah, I don't know that I look at it like that. I mean, it's the number's right about where it opened. There's not really been a lot of fluctuation, but for the amount of people talking Jandiroba, that for the line not to move, that's interesting. I do believe the wrong woman's favored here. No one's made more money on Jandiroba than me, but there comes a time, and I just think this is it. We'll see. The good news is we're constantly learning watching these fights. And just because my projection of how this fight goes is as it is, doesn't mean it's correct. If I could pick these fights after they were over, Jeff, I'd be about 95, 96%, I guarantee.
The co-main event, and you talk about two opposite styles here. Michael Chandler against Paddy Pimblett. You either love Paddy Power or you hate him. Well, I think the public will be all in on Paddy Pimblett. He's already now minus 155. Michael Chandler plus 130. Over 1.5 minus 210. Obviously, Michael is going to have to stay in the middle of the ring. He's going to have to connect. He's going to have to strike. He's going to have to throw the kitchen sink, because if it gets onto the ground, forget about it.
Yeah, I think that's public thinking. Even though Chandler was a wrestler, he doesn't have particularly great takedown defense. Paddy will be the much bigger guy. However, Paddy will be giving away unbelievable expertise on the feet. Chandler will move better, faster. Chandler will strike more fluently, more powerful. And Paddy has a tendency in exchanges to get that chin raised up. This fight, I can see Chandler putting the lights out on Paddy early. I can also see after maybe a round and a half, if Paddy's size can suck a little gas out of Chandler, I can see Paddy subbing him. This is a fight I'm running from because I keep going back and forth, and I'll be the first to admit that I really have no clue what the hell's going to happen in this fight.
And again, my eyes flocked to Chandler, and I was talking to a colleague an hour before our show here, and who's a big Paddy guy, and of course, again, he's going to get him down and forget about it. And so I'm thinking of the Chandler, the striking and knocking Paddy senseless. Someone's got to do it, and no one better, I think, than Michael Chandler.
Well, I think a lot of people want him to do that, but Chandler, his motivations are funny. Is he in there to win? Because I think you see a different approach from him. The normal Chandler goes in there to spark oohs and ahs, and he's 2-4 doing that. So it's a risky business. We'll have to see, but I'd rather sidestep it. Now, there's one other fight I'm sliding in just before we get to the main event, and that's that American wrestler against the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu killer. And we have a fight like that on this card. It's Jean Silva against Bryce Mitchell. Bryce Mitchell's been in the headlines for saying stupid stuff. Just look it up. I'm not going to explain it here, but the guy is a legit ranked good grappling wrestling top 15 UFC athlete in his division. He's getting this killer Silva, who's coming up. And Silva's a big favorite, although the money's coming in on Mitchell. Silva opens 450. Now he's 250. They're betting Mitchell pretty good because of the price. He's taller, he's longer, he's stronger. He's the ranked fighter, and he hates Jean Silva. And Jean Silva has been trying to sell the fight And by saying he's going to put the lights out on Mitchell, Mitchell had his lights put out 2 fights back terribly. So what's the difference in this fight? So is the American underdog wrestler going to go ground Silva and do exactly to him what last week Sabatini did to Brito? The most people think yes. I happen to think no, he's not. And the difference is that Silva's 5'7", 5'8", Mitchell's 5'11". The taller, longer, thinner wrestler, I think, is going to have a way more difficult time trying to get under a shorter guy, whereas last week these guys are about the same size. And so for the takedown ability of Silva, knowing what's coming, I think he's going to be able to connect with Mitchell. The UFC hates Mitchell for what he's said and the position he's put them in, and they're feeding this guy as a little medicine for a reason. This Silva should be regarded as one dangerous dude.
And currently on DraftKings, Silva minus 218, Mitchell plus 180, over 2.5, plus 110. Lou, under 2.5 is now minus 140.
Yeah, I would steer you that way. The other way to go is, well, geez, why not take Silva inside the distance or to rock? I don't know. I don't want to discount Mitchell that bad. He's tough. This dude can pick. He's a country boy from Arkansas. He can pick up a pig in one arm and a tractor in another and walk across the back 40. And I ain't lying. He's got brute strength. But I don't know about that point. And that's the big question we're going to see here. At the end of the day, the over 2.5's a plus price. That's intriguing to me. I think this could be a real tight fight where Silva wins decision and then it goes over that 2.5. I like that over 2.5 a little bit.
Main event, Alexander Volkanovski, Diego Lopez, currently on DraftKings. Volkanovski minus 142, Diego Lopez plus 120, over 3.5. minus 145, under 3.5, plus 114. Lou, I'll just say this on social media. Anyone I've seen out there, most people that are talking about the fights and the main event, they all like the dog here. It sounds like Diego Lopez.
Yeah, well, let's see. Volk open 150 to 130. Now the underdogs plus 105 or plus 100. Well, let me back up. It got there yesterday, and that's when I released Volkanovski minus 120. Now there's been buyback on Volkanovski, and I think that is wise buyback. It's how you view Volkanovski in this fight. The no camp says he just got knocked out twice. He's 35 years old and he's past his prime. And we've seen this young killer win 4 or 5 straight UFC fights, just smashing them. And so there's tremendous recency on Lopez, and he's getting quite a bit of credit for taking this no notice fight against Ige on a certain amount of hours. I mean, hey, Lopez is a beast for doing that. He didn't have to, but he wanted to fight, and he had everything going against him in that. But Dan Ige is not who he's going to be facing in this fight. And the guy he fought after that or before that, Brian Ortega, is nowhere near Volkanovski, or he isn't near where he was when he fought Volkanovski. This is a huge step up for Diego Lopez, and there's great value on Volkanovski. Why? Because of his feet. We watched Volkanovski completely outclass Max Holloway on the feet 3 times. Okay, Lou, he didn't completely outclass him, but he beat him standing in Max's own game, the longer, taller, total elite player. Now he gets this young Mexican kid that's still learning, young Brazilian kid fighting out of Mexico who is still learning. And the real thing he has to learn is footwork. This fight's about footwork and the ability of Volkanovski to control space, getting in and out. And I think Volkanovski is the way to go here. And I wouldn't wait much longer because I think that's where the market's picking up. And you might see that number go back up to Volkanovski minus 150. I don't think it gets too far from that because the recency and the public are going to be taking Lopez.
I agree with you. And I did see the move and the buyback. So great eyes is always there. Next week, a week off, 11 straight weeks of UFC, a week off. We can breathe. We can let the tulips blossom a little more. Maybe we might actually get some warm weather back east here, Lou. How's that sound?
Well, it sounds good. It's plenty warm here. I have to close now all the shutters and everything because there's so much bright light, and we're in the 90s now, and it'll be 100, tomorrow probably.
47 degrees and sunny. It's been high 30s, low 40s all week, rainy and raw. So God bless you. Scroll has been going the whole time. Follow Lou at GamLou, of course. Check him out on VSiN. Mondays, Sneak Teep podcast. Fridays, after the weigh-ins, the Bout Business podcast. But as we always wrap it up here, Lou, tell them about your website, tell them about your charity, and anything else you might want to add.
The website's gamblou.com. Contacting me is lou@gamblou.com. I'm always willing to help someone if they got a question on a bet or whatever it might be. Anything reasonable is responded to. My webpage, gamblou.com, single point of contact on me. We're trying to do good work by supporting those that do good work. And that's the San Xavier Mission, the oldest mission in the United States, which we have a proud display of on the webpage. You got to go to the San Xavier Mission button, tap it. You'll get all the information there. A great amount of our proceeds go to the San Xavier Mission until the GamBlue webpage is financed. And once I can pay for it with support from great members, then all of our income will go to the San Xavier Mission. I'm trying to kind of lead the way in some good, positive, charitable work. I'm in a position to do it. GamBlue wants to do it. And all we got to do is just keep hitting these fights and keep getting on good shows like this, Jeff. I appreciate you letting me reach out to all your people.
Well, we can't thank you enough. I want to give a great shout out, of course, to Mr. Elijah Cox behind the glass. Thank you so much for all you do. Everyone else, Fight Night Fortunes next Thursday off, but make sure you come back the following Thursday. We'll be back here as the show must go on. So for myself, Jeff Dawson at ET Sports Invest, the one and only Mr. Lou Finocchiaro at GamLou, we wish everyone a blessed day. Enjoy yourselves, and we will see you soon.